Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you for being on time. Is there any department today in a hospital which can function well without radiology support? No? We imagine we can't 150 years ago how they treated patients without using radiology, we don't know. So we are all exposed to radiation in some form or the other. Like in the theater, all orthopedic and spine procedures are all done under image guidance. So there is some radiation involved in that. In the endoscopy, we are doing ERCP or dilatation, all those things, again radiation is involved. Of course, people who are working in the radiology department are probably knowing about all the precautions to be taken and how to do the work safely, but the rest of us may take it very casually. So today it is a very important topic that concerns all of us. It's about radiation safety. Over to the team.
So today we'll have a small talk about the radiation safety, awareness among our healthcare workers, and the precautions to be done for the radiation safety, presented by our Department of Cardiology and Cardiothoracic Surgery. So I'll give a brief talk about the radiation. In this hospital, the medical profession which are exposed to radiation hazard are Department of Radiology, Orthopedics, Urology, Neurology, Gastroenterology, Radiation Oncology, and Cardiology. So almost all departments are exposed, and among these departments, interventional cardiologists receive the highest amount of radiation exposure among everyone. And a brief intro about how X-ray is actually generated, which is the ionizing radiation that we deal with. So X-ray machine consists of an X-ray generator which is placed above, and the patient lies in this position. Here it is going to be supine, and the X-ray detector plate is placed behind the patient. So an X-ray X-ray beam comes from the X-ray generator from the top, and it passes through the area of interest in the patient, and then the X-ray passes below, and after that some amount of X-ray is absorbed within the patient, which is the absorbed radiation, and then the remaining is transmitted through the patient and reaches the detector plate below, and then the remaining gets scattered outside the patient from the patient's body, and that is called the scattered radiation. So we have a transmitted radiation which passes through the patient, and a scattered radiation which is coming from the patient. So next we have a C-arm. A C-arm works, the principle is going to be same as that of the X-ray machine, but the difference is that the X-ray tube is placed below, where the radiation comes from below. Yeah, the X-ray comes from below. Okay, fine. So X-ray comes from below, and the patient is lying on the table, and through the patient the beam goes up, and the detector plate is placed above. So it is just the other way around, but the principle is same. And then the scattering occurs. Yeah, the only difference is that the scattered radiation is going to be more above the table in the X-ray, and here in a C-arm it is going to be more below the table. So otherwise the principle is going to be the same. So the X-ray which is generated from the X-ray tube, after it passes through the patient, so there are three outcomes. So complete penetration through the patient results in the image generation, and some gets absorbed, and that absorbed dose is going to be responsible for the radiotoxic effect to the patient, and scattered radiation is the one which is going to have its effect on the operator and the people in the radiation room. So it is a scattered radiation, that is the radiation which comes from the patient. It's going to be the source of radiation effects to the operator, and more than the one which is coming from the X-ray tube. So the patient is the source of radiation for the operator, while the X-ray tube is a source of radiation to the patient. Here this is just a tabular column showing the radiation dose which is measured in millisieverts. A typical chest X-ray, the dose received is about 0.02 millisieverts, and for a diagnostic coronary angiogram, which is about 7 millisieverts, and which is equivalent to a 350 chest X-ray, 350 X-rays. And for a simple PCI, it is about 15 millisieverts, while a complex PCI like a CTO, chronic total occlusion, the dose is high, about 81 millisieverts, which is equivalent to 4050 X-rays. And for endovascular aortic procedures, it is about 76 millisieverts. For a CT coronary angiogram, it is about 3. And for a SESTA baby stress is about 9. So probably the highest dose is about complex PCIs. Now coming to the principles of radiation protection, this is the core topic of today. The principle is based on 3 pillars. One is justification, the other is dose limit, and the other is optimization. Justification. The meaning of justification is that the procedure should be justified to the patient. If, for example, if I'm subjecting a patient to a CT scan, the imaging should have some diagnostic, therapeutic, or prognostic implication for the patient. For example, if an ultrasound is going to be, for example, and if an umbilical hernia is more evident on a clinical examination, we do not require a CT abdomen for the same, except when it is warranted based on other clinical. Okay, nice. Sorry, I think I'm out of my subject. Yeah. So we should justify the patient if the investigation is actually necessary or not. So that is very important. Next, coming to the dose limits. Dose limits we categorize into the dose limit for the operator and the staff, and to the patients. So for the operator and staff, there are several dose limits for different parts. I'll come to this at a later point, where there are several different limits for different parts. I'll come to this later for dose monitoring. And as far as for patient dose limits, there are no dose limit set by the guidelines for the patient. I'll come to this dose limit at later while deal with dose monitoring. Next is optimization. So how do we optimize this radiation safety to the healthcare workers? And the principle is the ALARA, which means that as slow as reasonably achievable. The radiation dose should be as slow as reasonably achievable. It is based again on 3 different entities. One is time, the other is distance, and shielding. So coming to so these are the 3 again the pillars of radiation protection: the time, distance, and the shielding. So what is time is that, so the lower the time spent during the procedure, so lower will be the radiation exposure. So that is about the time. So we can reduce the number of images, we can reduce cine images, we can reduce the frame rates. So this is how lower the time spent during the procedure, lower is the radiation exposure. And next is about distance. So distance is the more the operator is a little away from the patient, the more will be the lesser will be the radiation exposed. But it is not possible for the primary operator to stay away from the patient. However, a safe distance of 20 centimeters advocated. You can see in this image, I think it is not clear. In this image, this is a CM table, and this is the operator, and we have different color zones where with different radiation intensity. So more the closer the operator is to the patient, so more is the radiation exposure. So person who are not related to the procedure, for example, people who are not related, for example, if only one staff is required for assistant, the other backup staff need not be present inside the room. They can stay away from the patient. So they can probably stay in the green zone. So the X-ray which is generated from the X-ray beam, that is going to be the source for the patient. And it is also to remember that the radiation which is absorbed from the patient gets scattered. So the patient is actually the source of radiation for the operator. So the operator should not bend over the patients. They should actually stand erect during the procedure, and they should not bend over. And certain table appropriate habits like we should have an appropriate table height. For example, higher the table, lower will be the radiation exposure. And this image where this X-ray beam should be as close to the patient, and it should not be away like this. So you can see is that when the table height is going to be low, the radiation is about 1 here, and it is 1.4 when the table is low. And when the table is low and the image intensifier is high, the radiation dose is almost more than double. So we should have some table appropriate behaviors. And again, another scenario that we face is obese patients being shifted for cath lab. when an obese patient, to have an appropriate image, we always tend to lower the height and we increase the image intensifier for us to give a clear image. So that again increases the radiation dose to the patient. Next is coming to the third pillar, which is shielding. So it has been told that shielding can protect, shielding with an appropriate lead garment can protect 95% of the scattered radiation from the environment. And it is very critical for the medical personnel, which involves lead apron, a thyroid collar, eye goggles, with or without a gonadal shield. This is about the personal protective equipment worn by the operator, and the other shields which are available are the two important shields. One is the wall mounted shield which hangs from the C arm, and the other is the shield which is present below the table. So these are the two shields, and this upper shield will protect from this radiation source. And since we also saw that in C arm, majority of the radiation source is below the table, where scattering happens below the table, so we need an under table lead shield also. So both has to be appropriately used. Yes, sir. Both, yes, ma'am. Both are being used. Yes, ma'am. So they have to be, they are present, and it has to be appropriately used. As many times we forget to use these shields during emergencies. Next is about tube angulation. So the advantage of having a C-arm is to change the angle so that we can visualize an appropriate lesion. But the disadvantage comes with increased radiation dose both to the patient and the operator as well. So more the angulation, more will be the radiation exposure to the patient and the operator. So we should use angulation, we should avoid steep angulations, and we should have shallow angulations whenever necessary. Next is using magnification. So in order to get an appropriate, for example, in cardiac cath lab, we use a stent boost to visualize a stent. So when we increase a magnification, that radiation dose also increases. Although you can see that this is a normal mode where the field is large but the radiation dose is small. But when we use a magnification mode, the field might appear to be lower, but more radiation dose has been delivered to a small area of interest. So that increases a skin dose for the patient. So magnification increases the radiation dose. Next is using collimators. Collimators are basically shutters. For example, if you are going to take only a chest X-ray, the unnecessary, that is the lower abdomen can be actually excluded from the field by using appropriate shutters. So those which are out of the field can actually be excluded. So using a collimators or shutters can again reduce radiation dose both to the patient and the operator as well. Next is the frame rates in fluoroscopy. X-rays are actually delivered from the X-ray tube in pulses. That is 1 or 2, 3, several pulses per second. In cardiac cath lab, during a routine angiogram, we typically use 15 frames per second or pulse per second. But whenever appropriate, for example, when such clarity is not needed, for example, structural interventions do not require that much clarity. So we can reduce the frame rates to 7.5 frames per second. So lower the frame rate, lower will be the pulses delivered and lower the radiation delivered. So we should reduce the frame rate depending on whatever appropriate usage, and instead of having a fixed frame rate. Next is inappropriately stepping on the fluoroscopic pedal when not necessary. So this should be avoided. Even when not looking into the screen while handling with equipment, we tend to accidentally step into the fluoroscopy when actually not in use. So that will again increase the radiation dose unnecessarily. And we should also decrease the cine usage and increase, because the dose of cine is higher in, the radiation dose is higher when we use a cine compared to fluoroscopy. So we should avoid cine usage. Instead we can use fluoroscopy and save it. That can be as an alternate to using a cine. Next, coming to the biological effects of radiation onto the body. So they classify the biological effects into two things. One is deterministic effects, the other is stochastic effects. So deterministic effects are dose-dependent radiation injury to the body, in which lower the dose, lower will be the, for example, skin injury that happens following radiation is basically a deterministic effect, and it is dose dependent. While a stochastic effects means that it does not depend on the dose. Irrespective of the dose, the radiation has its harmful effects on the body. For example, malignancies and genetic defects are examples of stochastic effects on the body, and they do not require any radiation dose. So even the slightest radiation dose is actually harmful. So that is the implication of having this classification. And next, coming to the radiation effects on the skin, as I said, it is dose dependent skin damage. This is actually the radiation injury to the patient. Both of them are the patient's photo, which ranges from dry. This is a desquamated patch, which usually resolves on its own, and the other is a skin necrosis, which happened to a patient who received 18 gray during a complex PCI. Those are the two skin injuries which happened to the patient, but both of them resolved without any intervention. Next is to the operator. It has been noted that the radiation involved in the left half of the body is higher when compared to the right half of the body, because it is the left half of the body which is close to the X-ray generator and the scattered radiation. So it has been studied that the left half receives more radiation than the right half of the body. And there was also a yes, and radiation can also cause genetic damage that can lead to malignancies, either hematological or solid tumors. And there was a study published in American Journal of American College of Cardiology, where 11 interventional cardiologists were the study population who had brain tumors. It has been seen that 86% had left-sided brain tumors and 14 had right-sided brain tumors. Yeah. So next, we'll talk about. So next, we have been talking about the radiation which has been received and how to quantitate the radiation dose that has been received. So there are several parameters to quantitate. One is the fluoroscopic time. Fluoroscopic time is that the total duration of the fluoroscopy used throughout the procedure. After every interventional procedure, this is the report which has been generated after every procedure, which is usually given to the patient, which gives the fluoroscopic time in minutes. For example, in this, the fluoroscopic time is about 19 minutes and 29 seconds. So more the fluoroscopic time, more is the radiation dose. But the disadvantage of using is that it does not record the cine time. Cine actually has more radiation dose than fluoroscopy, but that will not be included in fluoroscopic time. So it has its own disadvantage. Next is air karma. So air karma is another parameter to quantitate the radiation dose. Air karma means that as the X-ray is generated from the tube and it passes through the air, it is the amount of energy released into the air. It just tells that the amount of radiation present in the air within that room. So that is measured in milligrays. In this, it is about 1484.9 milligray is the air karma. But that again is non-specific because it is just about the radiation present in the air. But what is its effect on the operator or the patient? Dose area product gives a better parameter than air karma, where it is calculates the dose delivered to the patient in a specific area. For example, if we focus, for example, a chest X-ray focus only on the chest, so it is the area, the irradiated area is calculated in that, and that is multiplied with the air karma. So it is calculated with the product of air karma and the dose delivered to the patient, the area of the dose delivered to the patient. So that will give the area in milligray centimeter squares. So the dose area product for this patient is about 1,84,522. And next is after and we also need to have a quantitative parameter to monitor the radiation dose, and for that we have TLD batches. Yeah. We have TLD batches provided to us. So these are thermoluminescent dosimeter batch, which is required for monitoring of the dose. And how we'll monitor is we'll have a short kit as what we do, the radiation safety practices followed in our hospital. In that we'll demonstrate how I think we'll go into the play now. Sir, yes, sir.
See, actually, I am sitting right over CT scan. Do I get any
Sir, yes, sir.
radiation?
WHO has as a manual of radiation safety. The building construction should also be comply with the radiation safety practices, including the wall, the concrete used. I haven't gone into the civic aspects of that.
Which have concrete, is it lead proof or whatever?
Sir, not lead proof, sir. there are it is about the thickness of the wall which is more important than the whether it is lead or without the lead, sir. There are rules. There is a WHO safety manual which has the norms for building construction where there is going to be exposure to radiation, including the thickness of the wall, the glass shields, everything, sir. There are rules, yes, sir. No, we don't have radiation safety gloves in our hospital, ma'am. No, no, madam. Only shields.
There is something called radiation leave or radiation, anybody is there, radiation has given some exposure.
No, sir. In this hospital, we don't give leave. We transfer them to a department where there is less exposure. Yes. There is no.
Extra pay for extra leave for radiation.
So far, we haven't encountered any alarmingly high exposure, sir.
Good afternoon, all. Now we are just presenting a small role play on what we are practicing in our hospital about radiation safety, what we are using in our MGM Aller hospital. Thank you.
The number you have dialed.
Hello.
ஹலோ
Yes, ma'am.
சைபி
Good morning,
நர்சிங் ஆஃபீஸ் வந்துருங்க. ஒரு நியூ ஸ்டாஃப் வந்திருக்காங்க, வந்து அவங்கள கூட்டிகிட்டு போய்க்கோங்க.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Sure.
ஓகே, தேங்க்யூ.
Excuse me, ma'am.
எஸ், குட் ஆஃப்டர்நூன். இவங்களோட நேம் தெய்வானே, கேத்லாப் ஸ்டாஃப். இவங்களை கேத்லாப் கூட்டு போயிட்டு அதோட ப்ரோட்டோகால்ஸ் எல்லாம் சொல்லி கொடுத்துருங்க.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Sure. Come, Devani.
Good morning, sister.
Come, Devani.
Good morning,
Okay.
sister.
Good morning, Devani. This is our cath lab. This is our cath lab.
Okay.
இதுக்கு முன்னாடி நீ cath labல ஒர்க் பண்ணிருக்கியா தேவானே?
sister, ஒர்க் பண்ணது இல்லைங்க sister.
ஒர்க் பண்ணது இல்லையா? ஓகே. cath lab பத்தி உனக்கு ஏதாவது தெரியுமா?
கேள்விப்பட்டிருக்கேன் சிஸ்டர், ஆனால் பயமாக இருக்குது சிஸ்டர்.
ஏன் பயப்படுற?
ரேடியேஷன் இருக்குன்னு சொன்னாங்க சிஸ்டர்.
ரேடியேஷன் இருக்குதா, ஆனால் மினிமல் எக்ஸ்போஷர் தான். அதுக்குள்ளே ப்ரொடெக்டிவ் எக்யூப்மெண்ட்ஸ் எல்லாம் நம்ம ஹாஸ்பிட்டல் ப்ரொவைட் பண்ணியிருக்கு. இந்த லெட் ஏப்ரன்ஸ் போட்டு நீ கேத்ல ப்ரொசீஜர்ஸ்க்கெல்லாம் போகணும். இந்த நெக் காலர் போடணும். அப்புறம் டோசிமீட்டர் ஒன்று இருக்குது, டிஎல்டி பேட்ஜ், அது உங்களுக்கு ப்ரொவைட் பண்ணுவேன். அது போட்டு போனாச்சுன்னா நீ எவ்வளோ எக்ஸ்போஷர் ஆஃப் ரேடியேஷன் ஆகிருக்குன்னு அது தெரியும்.
ஓகே,
ஓகேவா? நான் உனக்கு ஒரு ஃபார்ம் கொடுக்குறேன், அது மட்டும் ஃபில் பண்ணி எனக்கு கொடு. நான் அப்போ டோசிமீட்டருக்கு ப்ராசஸ் பண்ணுறேன்.
ஃபோட்டோ இங்கே ஒட்டிடுவாங்க.
இங்கே ஃபோட்டோ ஒட்டிடு.
So they have a TLD batch application form which is provided by an Avantech lab which has been attached to our hospital. So this is how the application form looks, where the staff has to fill their own parameters right from their name, their designation, and it has to be, yes, this is the application form that is being provided and it has to be filled by the staff who has been joining here.
சிஸ்டர், ஃபார்ம் ஃபில் பண்ணிட்டேன் சிஸ்டர்.
ஓகே தேவானே, தேங்க்யூ. நான் செக் பண்ணிவிட்டு இது ப்ராசஸ் பண்ண நான் ஆர்எஸ்ஓ கிட்ட கொடுக்குறேன். அவர் அது ப்ராசஸ் பண்ணி உனக்கு டிஎல்டி பேட்ச் கொடுக்குறேன். அது வாங்கிட்டு பிறகு நீ ப்ரொசீஜர்ஸ்க்கெல்லாம் அசிஸ்ட் பண்ணலாம். தேங்க்யூ தேவானே. It will
Yes,
come,
sir.
sir, in the role play.
That is what the
It
script
will come
is.
in the role
Yes,
play.
sir.
எஸ்கியூஸ் மீ பிரதர். நியூ ஸ்டாஃப் ஜாயின் பண்ணியிருக்காங்க கேத் லேபுக்கு. அவங்களோட டிஎல்டி பேட்ச் ரிக்வெஸ்ட் ஃபார்மை ஜஸ்ட் அப்ளை பண்ணிவிட்டு டிஎல்டி பேட்ச் ப்ரொவைட் பண்ணுங்கள்.
So the staff is handing over the TLD badge application form to our radiation safety officer. So our hospital has every hospital has its own radiation safety officer who is responsible for the practices, principles and practice of radiation safety. Yeah.
ஓகே சார், நான் செக் பண்ணிட்டு நான் அப்ளை பண்ணிடுறேன்.
Sir, our hospital radiation safety officer belongs to cardiology department, sir. Mr. Franklin Nicholas. He is a radiation safety officer.
Myself radiation safety officer.
Yes, sir.
RSO.
Radiation safety officer is handing over the TLD application form to our COO of our hospital.
Good afternoon, sir. சார், நம்ம ஹாஸ்பிட்டலுக்கு நியூவாக ஜாயின் பண்ண ஸ்டாஃப்ஸோட டிஎல்டி பேட்ச் ரிக்வஸ்ட் ஃபார்ம், இதை செக் பண்ணிட்டு சைன் பண்ணிடுறீங்களா?
So the application form is verified initially by the staff, then the RSO, then the COO. So only after this the application form is being.
பிரதர் இந்த கொரியரை இந்த அட்ரஸ்க்கு போஸ்ட் பண்ணிடுங்க. ஓகே.
So security, so the radiation safety officer hands over the TLD application form in a sealed process to the security officer. To what is Aventec lab is the lab which provides a TLD batch for us. So after sending the application form, that we receive the TLD batch. Probably takes a week to receive, and after we receive the lab, we receive the batch. The parcel is received by the radiation safety officer,
பார்சல் வந்து
sealed in a package.
ஓகே ஓகே கொடுங்க.
So this is a private lab which is under control of Baba Atomic Research Center in Mumbai.
சிஸ்டர்,
So
இது நம்ம நியூவாக ஜாயின் பண்ணியிருக்காங்க இல்லையா, அந்த ஸ்டாஃபோட டிஎல்டி பேட்ச் அவங்களுக்கு இதை கொடுத்துட்டு
தேங்க்யூ பிரதர்.
So the radiation safety officer hands over the TLD batch to the staff, who hands over to the cath lab operator. So this is a TLD batch which is usually received to us.
மிஸ் தேவானே, இதான் உன்னோட டிஎல்டி பேட்ச் ரிசீவ் பண்ணிட்டேன். ஓகேவா? இதுக்கப்புறம் இது போட்டு தான் நீ கேஸ்க்கெல்லாம் போகணும், ப்ரொசீஜருக்குள்ளே கேத் லேப்க்கு போகலாம். இந்த பேட்ச் எப்படி போடணும்னா இது செஸ்ட் லெவலில் தான் போடணும். ஓகே, அண்டர் த லெட் ஆப்ரன் தான் போடணும். ஓகேவா? எபோ த லெட் ஆப்ரன் இந்த பேட்ச் போடக்கூடாது. ஓகேவா? அதுக்கப்புறம் இந்த பேட்சஸ் நீ ரிப்ளேஸ் பண்ணிடணும், கபோர்ட்லேயே ரீப்ளேஸ் பண்ணிடணும். ஓகே, ஆஃப்டர் யூஸ். புரிஞ்சாச்சா? ஏதாவது டவுட் இருக்கா?
So this is how as explained, this is how the batch has to be worn. There is a crocodile clip which is attached to the lab, and that has to be worn at the level of the chest, and this has to be worn. Okay, we'll go.
அப்பா, எனக்கு டிஎல்டி பேட்ச் கிடச்சிச்சு, நான் போயிட்டு கேஸ்லாம் பண்ணலாம். வெரி குட்.
So now the new cath lab staff has been provided with a TLD batch. She wears it, and now she enters the lab to assist for the case.
இந்த பேட்ச் வேற போட சொன்னாங்க, செஸ் லெவல்னு சொன்னாங்க, மறந்துட்டோமே. அச்சோ,
என்ன பண்ணிட்டு இருக்கா இவ? என்னாச்சு தேவானே? இது எப்படி போடணும்னு தெரியலையா என்ன?
ஒன்றும் இல்லைங்க சார். ஏப்ரான் எப்படி போடுறது?
ஏப்ரல் போடுறதுக்கு முன்னாடி சிஸ்டர் வந்து டிஎல்டி பேட்ச் போட சொல்லியிருப்பாங்களே, ஏன் மறந்துட்டியா?
இதோ வச்சுருக்கேன் சிஸ்டர்.
பேக்கெட்டில் வைக்கிறதுக்கு அதை கொடுத்தாங்க. டிஎல்டி பேட்சை வந்து செஸ்ட் லெவல் கிட்ட தான் போடணும். இதேமாரி
இங்கே பேக்கெட்டே இல்லை சிஸ்டர், எப்படி வைக்கிறது நான்?
பேக்கெட்லலாம் வைக்க தேவையில்ல. இந்த டிஎல்டி பேட்சை நீங்கள் வந்து இந்த இடத்துல ஸ்டிக் பண்ணிக்கிட்டால் கிளிப்பர் மாதிரி போட்டுக்கிட்டால் போதும். இதை நீங்கள் வந்து பேக்கெட்டில் வைக்கிறதுனாலையோ இல்லை வேறு எங்கேயாவது மிஸ்பிளேஸ்மெண்ட் பண்ணுறதுனாலையோ ரீடிங்ஸ் தான் நமக்கு தப்பாக காட்டும். சரிங்களா?
ஓகேங்க சார். இப்போ ஓகே ஃபஸ்ட்டு.
ஓகே. இந்த ஏப்ரான் எப்படி போடணும்னு கேட்டிங்கல்ல, இப்போ நான் பண்ணி காட்டுறேன், நீங்கள் பாருங்கள். உங்களோட லெட் ஏப்ரானை வந்து நீங்கள் இது மாதிரி போடுறதுனால உங்களோட பாடி எக்ஸ்போஷரை வந்து நம்மளால் வந்து ப்ரிவெண்ட் பண்ணிக்க முடியும். இதை நீங்கள் டைட்டராக போட்டு இந்த இடத்துல இது மாதிரி ஸ்டிக் பண்ணிக்கிறதுனால அந்த எக்ஸ்போஷரோட லீக்கேஜ் கூட நம்மளோட பாடிக்குள்ள எங்கேயும் என்டர் ஆகாது. ஸோ நம்மளோட பாடியை ப்ரிவெண்ட் பண்ணிக்கிறதுக்காக இந்த லெட் ஏப்ரானும், நம்மளோட தைராய்டு கிளாண்டை ப்ரிவெண்ட் பண்ணிக்கிறதுக்காக இந்த நெக் காலரும் நம்ம போட்டுக்கிறோம். சரிங்களா? இது மாதிரி
ஓகேங்க சிஸ்டர்.
நம்ம வந்து கேஸ்க்கு போகணும்.
எஸ் சிஸ்டர். ஓகே வாங்க சிஸ்டர். எஸ் சிஸ்டர்.
So this is how a lead apron has to be worn before the procedure, with appropriate lead apron, thyroid collar, and a head cap which is missing. I think it is there in the lab. So after appropriate verification, staff enters into the cath lab for procedure.
One person will stand behind another person and another person. Is that okay?
Yes, sir. That will protect the.
First one will
Yes.
wear, the other ones don't wear.
No, sir. That is not correct. But the person standing behind will receive lesser radiation than the one who, because that person is going to protect him from radiation, sir. Yes, sir. Scattered radiation will be avoided. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Because scattered radiation is is a higher source than the X-ray tube. And inside the table, Yeah, we have to follow table appropriate behaviors as which were described, including the upper shield which has to be properly utilized and the shield below the table. Many of the times during procedure we fail to utilize these shields which can protect from majority of the radiation. So during procedure we have to use these appropriate shields, and then after the procedure completes we have to remove the lead apron and use it in an appropriate way, which will be again demonstrated by our staff.
அப்பாடா கேஸ் முடிஞ்சிச்சு. எவ்வளோ வெயிட்
என்ன பண்ணுறீங்க நீங்கள்?
பேஷண்ட் ரிசீவ் பண்ணுங்க சிஸ்டர்.
நீங்கள் அதுக்கு முன்னாடி லெட் ஏப்ரனை எங்கே வச்சுருக்கீங்க?
சேரில் தான் சிஸ்டர் வச்சுருக்கேன்.
சிஸ்டர், நீங்கள் இது மாதிரி போடுறதுனால லெட் ஏப்ரான் பிரேக் தான் ஆகும். பிரேக் கேட்குறதுனால நம்ம வந்து எக்ஸ்போஷர்லேருந்து ப்ரிவெண்ட் பண்ணிக்க முடியாது. எக்ஸ்போஷரை நம்ம ஃபுல்லாக வாங்கிக்க தான் முடியும். லெட் ஏப்ரான் பிரேக் ஆச்சுன்னா என்ன ஆகும்? எக்ஸ்ரே ரேஸ் ஃபுல்லாக நம்ம உடம்புக்கு தான் போகும். நம்ம தான் அதனால் பாதிக்கப்பட போகிறோம்.
ஓகே ஓகேங்க சிஸ்டர்.
இனிமேல் எடுக்கிற இடத்துல லெட் ஏப்ரானை ரீப்ளேஸ் பண்ணுறது தான் நல்லது.
ஓகேங்க சிஸ்டர், இனிமேல் கரெக்டாக வச்சிட்றேங்க சிஸ்டர். ஓகேங்களா சிஸ்டர்?
ஸோ பிளேஸ்
இல்லைம்மா, ஆகும்னா முடிஞ்சிருச்சுன்னு அப்படியே போயிடுறேன். டிஎல்டி பேட்சை யாருமா ரீப்ளேஸ் பண்ணுவா? இது
சிஸ்டர் பேஷண்ட்டை ரிசீவ் பண்ணுங்க சிஸ்டர்.
பேஷண்ட் ரிசீவ் பண்ணுறதெல்லாம் இருக்கட்டும், நம்ம என்னென்ன எக்யூப்மெண்ட்ஸ் போடுறோமோ அது எல்லாத்தையும் கரெக்டாக ரீப்ளேஸ் பண்ணுறதுனால நம்ம வந்து ரேடியேஷனோட ரேட்டிங் லெவல், டோசிங் ரேட்டை வந்து நம்ம கரெக்டாக கண்டுபிடிக்க முடியும். இது மாதிரி நீ டிஎல்டி பேட்சை போட்டுட்டு இங்கேயோ இல்லை வெளியிலையோ போட்டு போயிட்டு இருந்தால் அதோட எக்ஸ்போஷர் லெவலும் தானே கிடைக்கும்.
சிஸ்டர் இது எனக்கு கொடுத்துருக்காங்க, என்னுடைய பேர் தான் போட்டிருக்கு பாருங்கள்.
உன்னோட பேர் போட்டிருந்தா வீட்டுக்கு எடுத்துகிட்டு போயிடுவியா? இங்கே மட்டும்தான் போடணும், ரேடியேஷன் ஜோனுக்குள்ளார மட்டும்தான் போடணும்னு இந்த பேட்சே கொடுத்துருக்கு.
ஏன் சிஸ்டர் வீட்டுக்கு கூட எடுத்துகிட்டு போயிடலாம்ல, என்னுடைய தானே இது.
அப்போ டிஎல்டி பேட்ச் ஃபார்மை யாரும் படித்து சைன் போடுறதில்ல, சும்மா கொடுக்குறோமேன்னு தான் சைன் போடுறீங்க.
ஏன் சிஸ்டர் இது எடுத்துகிட்டு போனால் என்னங்க சிஸ்டர் ஆகும்?
இப்போ தானம்மா சொன்னேன், டிஎல்டி பேட்ச் ஃபார்ம்லேயே எழுதியிருக்கும் இந்த ரேடியேஷன், இந்த பேட்சை வந்து நம்ம குறிப்பிட்ட இடத்துக்குள்ளார தான் போடணும். அந்த ரேட்டு அதேமாரி அந்த பேட்சை ரீப்ளேஸ் பண்ணுற இடமுமே வந்து ரேடியேஷன் ஜோனுக்கு அவுட்டரில் தான் இருக்கணும்னு சொல்லி தான் கொடுத்துருக்கு. ஸோ நம்ம எப்பயுமே டிஎல்டி பேட்சை செஸ்ட் லெவலில் போடணும், அதுவும் அண்டர் த ஏப்ரான் தான் போடணும். அது ஒன்ஸ் கேஸ் முடிஞ்சதும் அந்த பேட்சை எடுத்துகிட்டு போயிட்டு அதோட குறிப்பிட்ட ஏரியாவில் போயிட்டு நம்ம ரீப்ளேஸ் பண்ணி லாக் பண்ணி வச்சுக்கணும். இதனால் அது மிஸ்யூஸ் ஆகிறதையும் தடுக்கலாம், மிஸ் ரீடிங் ஆகிறதையும் தடுக்கலாம்.
ஓகேங்க சிஸ்டர், நான் இதுக்கப்புறம் வச்சிடுறேங்க சிஸ்டர்.
So replacing aprons in the appropriate position is a very important part of our. It is our duty to prevent this kind of radiation injury. And again, as staff insisted, the TLD patch has to be removed and it has to be kept in. We have a separate locker in our department to keep the TLD patches, which is again in a radiation-free zone. So yes, and the TLD batch should not be taken by the operator to. Suppose if the operator works in a different hospital, that batch should not be taken to the other hospital. The batch is only for that particular institute. So that has to be noted.
நியூ செட்ஸ் ஆஃப் டிஎல்டி பேட்சஸ் நம்ம ஸ்டாஃப்ஸோட ஓல்ட் செட் ஆஃப் பேட்சஸ் கொடுத்தீங்கன்னா நம்ம குவார்ட்டர்லி ரீடிங்ஸ்காண்டி நம்ம அனுப்பிடலாம். ஓகேவா?
So radiation safety officer brings a new TLD batch and then collects the TLD batches from all other departments after 3 months. So after 3 months, what a radiation safety officer does is he collects the TLD batches from all the departments, including X-ray, orthopedic OT, endoscopy, wherever the TLD batches are used, and he collects it and he again parcels it, and through security officer he sends it to the Aventec lab for reading after giving a new set of TLD batches.
சொல்லுங்க பிரதர். ஓகே, good.
So at the Aventec lab they process the TLD batch, and then after that we get the dosimeter report from the Aventec lab.
சிஸ்டர், இது நம்ம குவார்ட்டர்லி ரீடிங்ஸ்காண்டி அனுப்பிச்சோம் இல்லையா, அந்த ரிப்போர்ட்ஸ்லாம் வந்திருக்கு. இது ஸ்டாஃப்ஸ் கிட்ட காமிச்சிட்டு சைன் வாங்கிடுங்க எல்லாருக்கிட்ட.
Sisters, the quarterly வந்தாச்சு. நீங்கள் உங்கள் டோஸ் எவ்வளோ எக்ஸ்போஸ் ஆகிருக்குன்னு இதில் தெரிஞ்சிடும். ஜஸ்ட் செக் பண்ணிக்கோங்க. நம்ம யாருமே ஓவர் எக்ஸ்போஷர் எதுவுமே ஆகலை, ஏன்னா எல்லாம் ப்ரொடெக்டிவ் எக்யூப்மெண்ட்ஸ் யூஸ் பண்ணி தான் நம்ம ப்ரொசீஜர்ஸ்க்கெல்லாம் போனதுனால. ஸோ இதை ரீட் பண்ணிவிட்டு, உங்கள் டோஸ் ரீட் பண்ணிவிட்டு சைன் பண்ணி கொடுத்துடுங்க.
ஓகேங்க சார்.
So the maximum dose allowed for a person is about 30 millisieverts in 1 year and 100 millisieverts in 5-year duration. So this is a maximum allowable dose, and this is how the dosimeter report comes from the Avantech lab. It mentions the institution, it has an institution number, and the address, name and the address of the institution will be there, and all the healthcare personnel involved names will be listed, and it is born at the chest level. C indicates chest level, and the readings are, the whole body dose is what we read, and it comes in every third month. We send the batches for analysis, and you can see, for example, the dosimeter reading of 0 indicates that 0 does not mean there is no radiation exposure, but that it is within the reading limits. So that is what the number 0 indicates.
And 0 indicates not wearing at all.
Another possibility, yes sir.
Only Manohar is wearing.
And yes, so here, so again here one doctor has a reading of 0.3 in the first 3 months and 0.7 in the next 3 months. So cumulative dose for the 6 months is about 1.0. So but these are within the limits.
Now, like you said, one doctor working here goes for another doctor.
Yes sir.
All that cumulative work out, does anybody keep track?
I think no sir.
It will have to be the person's responsibility.
Yes sir.
The badge is the badge is applied for by the organization and then kept within the organization. So we both were talking the same thing now. Because if I am going to 10 other places, then I should be having badges everywhere, and then it's my responsibility
Yes.
to do the cumulative, not somebody else.
ARB has the record. Each one has a unique ID.
Yeah, that's what, yeah.
Wherever you go, your unique ID will
Okay,
have
sir.
the same. So it will be tagged, it will be cumulative dose.
If it is with the same vendor, right?
No. Ma'am, authority is only ARB. It's not even BRC now. So ARB will have only one pay. I had a TLD. My MD is from radiation oncology. So everyone has one TLD badge. Ma'am, it's not just a badge. There will be a unique ID. It will be there in the badge itself. So that will be the same wherever you go. They'll keep the track. So only this is your cumulative dose that you acquired. And it's now 20 sieverts, 20 millisieverts.
Okay sir.
20 per year, but it's cumulated over 5 years. So 5 years should be 100. Less than 100 is okay. Per year should be at least less than 50 is acceptable.
Is there someone who keeps checking whether the people are wearing badges or whether they're keeping inside there every day, all the time?
Yes sir, it is being in charge staff.
You don't do other work?
Some of us have only the nagging work.
Because like anything else, it has to be strictly monitored.
HIV is hiding the face.
You allow it into the cath lab without a badge, then you are not doing right.
HIV is hiding the face behind Seva. So,
Then how can they allow him without a badge?
He himself is a radiation group person.
oh no, I think I'll go.
A year later, we also check for the integrity of the lead apron that we have, if it is adequate in protection. So what we do is that we take the lead apron, put it on the fluoroscopy table and run a fluoroscopy for the lead apron itself, and we identify if there are any breaches. So in our lab we do have identified lead aprons with breaches here and there, and we would mark those lead aprons, and then we remove it from them, and then we condemn it and send it to biomedical department for further processing, and we request for new lead aprons for usage. So
The main problem with all this, Cine is not how much radiation is leading to Cine. I think that the young guys keep the Cine, but
No, but Dr.
Yes,
Pradeep, the device will record. It's only the printout that doesn't come for SIMI. If you are wearing a TLD badge, whether you go to radiotherapy department or radiology department or cath lab or wherever, that thing will pick up the radiation.
and after 2 years, that is every 2 years, we do have a quality assurance test being done for all the equipment which have a source of radiation in all the departments. What we do, the role of quality assurance is to identify the problems monitor the problems and resolve the problems. For example, if there is going to be an alarmingly high TLD dose batch reading for an operator, so the source has to be identified. If the operator is actually wearing the batch properly, or if there is inappropriate leakage in the tubing system, or so those etiology has to be assessed by the radiation safety officer. It is a duty of radiation safety officer is to ensure quality assurance, and it is also recommended by World Health Organization, where they have laid guidelines for quality assurance, and we do follow them every year. And the objective is to again the same, that is to evaluate the radiation dose periodically, monitor for all the workers, and the radiation protection devices, and they have to be trained in wearing these lead aprons. Regarding the TLD batches, the training has to be done, and it is the responsibility of the radiation safety officer to assure appropriate radiation safety behaviors. I think, yes. And again, audits has to be conducted regarding this radiation safety assessment, and the protocols has to be revised accordingly. That's all. Yes, that's all. Thank you. I'm Dr. Sundaresan, ma'am. I've joined here as an associate consultant in cardiology.
I'm Gayatri, ma'am, staff nurse in cath lab, ma'am.
My name is Parsuraman, staff nurse in cath lab.
My name is Gopinath, staff nurse cath lab.
Myself, Mohammed Shine. I'm a cath lab technician.
I am Anushya Mohan. I am the staff nurse of cath lab.
I am Shaibi Molke, cath lab in charge.
I'm Devanai, cath lab staff.
I am Janisha Angel. I am cath lab staff.
And one more thing,
Radiation
patient safety is our safety.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for that really very good session, Sundaresan. I want, yeah. So I want to know how fluent are you in Tamil? Pretty good. So I really request that many of the people who actually need to know this are not here today, and we will. I would request you to do one more round with the cath lab staff. Also, anyone who's missed today, and mainly in operation theatre in MSOT, our technicians and our nurses, and also maybe even in the radiology department. With the way you have explained, I don't think anyone has been taught that way. So thank you so much for a very, very detailed, very useful, and it can be thought that it is outside your purview, but you took the effort to actually explain it very nicely. And some of the things, honest, like Radhakrishna said, even I don't know. Even simple things like people don't realize just because you are wearing a lead apron, if you turn the other way, it's not going to work, right? So simple things like that, perhaps, a little more of hand holding. I request you to make some time and do sessions in Tamil so that, the people can understand. So thank you once again.
Next, we have Ms. Najiha for Magical Moments in Medicine.
Good afternoon, everyone. In the darkness of the laboratory, a new light was born. That was something related to the topic, that is the discovery of the X-rays. The Röntgen was the person, everyone knows who discovered X-rays, but the thing is how he discovered the X-rays. In 1895 in Germany, when he was studying a cathode rays, not trying to read a X-ray or something, he was made a cathode tube inside a black box so that no lights come out so he can read it properly, and there was a screen wide away from it, and he saw something glowing very faintly on that screen. But he had a question like, I have a cathode tube and it is covered by completely a black one. Why? How that light came out? So that time he was so curious to know what would that have come out only. So doesn't understand these rays. So he can't explain what that rays are. That's why he named it as X-rays. That's the meaning of X-rays we see. X represents unknown. So like in Max how we put that X term which we don't know, that is the term how we brought that X-rays are. So it's a completely an accidental discovery behind a very small thing. He ran behind a very small curious thing and then the X-rays were found. So the first X-ray was, he tried experimenting the trays with different object, wood, book, coin, everything. Then that the moment came when that the science was changed completely forever. He placed the wife, his own wife's hand and between the tube and the photographic plate, and this image was created. This is her hand, and he saw that bones were visualized and her marriage ring was very solid, so clearly visible, and when a wedding ring was dark and solid. So he found that the rays pass through something and some doesn't pass through some objects only. Then his wife immediately seeing this X-ray, she said, I have seen my death, because till that day there was no thing man can see inside a human body without opening it. So that's the time when couldn't see inside the body without surgery, and that's the first time a human saw inside what's human body through the X-rays. So Ronjan refused to patent his discovery he believed that it belonged to the humanity, and he also got the first Nobel Prize in physics for discovering the X-rays also. And during World War I, it was very useful to locate the bullets, saving countless lives. And he laid a foundation for radiology, CT, and all radiation therapies. And for beyond hospitals, we use X-rays for scan luggage at airport, examining fossils and all, and studying stars and galaxies. There were dangers like X-ray could be harmful in high doses, leading to burns and radiation injuries. So lead aprons and shields were discovered later to avoid all those injuries. I thought I will be presenting it first, so I will end it and they will start. So it was bit late. X-ray was a gift to humanity. It was a bridge between the invisible, making it visible. Thank you.
As you all might have noticed, for past 4-5 weeks, we added this special feature to Garkande, Magical Moments in Medicine. And week after week, Najiha does her homework and comes up with really interesting stuff. And I hope she continues it for weeks to come. Give her a big hand. If any of you want to volunteer to do something like this, please feel free. And a small tip, Najiha, we have a flat auditorium and people sitting. So just change everyone, whoever is presenting in future, please keep your material on your slides on the upper part and leave the lower part empty, simply so that the last bench can see it. Otherwise, it's a problem with our auditorium and not yours. But we have to adjust to circumstance. So please make sure all your presentations on the top half of your slides.
From this session, we thought we'll innovate with the quiz. We have Mentimeter incorporated into Karkande from now on. Please take your mobile phones out. This is going to be a trivia. So please take your mobile phones out. I'll put the QR code on the next slide. You have to go to menti.com if the QR code is not working. You can connect to MGM's guest Wi-Fi if you do not have network here. That's the QR code and that's the code also. If you could just go into the website and put that number 13063566. We have also innovated with the price, so be fast on your fingers. It's open to everybody. 12 people have joined. Everybody is welcome to join. So number is 16. We'll go ahead with 25. If you give me 25 numbers, we'll start the quiz. If the code is not going through, you can go to www.menti.com and enter this code on the top of the website.
But you see it says you're all set. The number. That's all right.
Yeah, that's there. 19 is the number. Is one more person. Make it 20 and we'll start the quiz. 20. Okay, it's 21. Say okay, 25. 22 people have joined. Okay, first question. Code is on the top of the screen. It's 13063566. First question. Who discovered the circulation of blood? You can't give me 1 minute, 2 minute. You have to be fast on your fingers. I don't want you to give me the answer. No prompting from now on. The right answer is William Harvey. We'll see. How many people have gotten it right? There's a maverick. It assigns its name in this Mentimeter, sir. Unless you change it, it won't change. Finally, we can see that. William Harvey was an English physician. He was the first to describe the circulation of blood. Until that, everybody thought that blood was just stagnant inside the body. Second question. Which is the smallest bone in the human body? It's a quite easy question. No use in prompting out the answer. You are going to lose it out to other people. Make sure you keep your answers to yourself and to your phones so that you get the prize at the end. Good that 16 people have got it right. We'll see if Maverick is on the run. Looks like a Sebastian has also joined the race. He's first. Next question. Which is the fastest muscle in the human body that acts very fast? It's quite common sense. If you are not able to see the options, please look at your phones. Your phone shows the answers quite bigger. The eyelid is the fastest muscle. It's common sense. It's involuntary in action, no? There's a Montana. Okay, next question. The pictures and all are clues. Okay, so please look at them too. Which part of the eye controls the amount of light entering? Which part controls the amount of light entering? The retina, cornea, iris, or the lens? Iris is the right answer. Maverick is again on the race. He is also joined by Ashley. He or she is also joined by Ashley and Sebastian. We'll see. Which is the strongest muscle in the human body? By weight. Which is it? Is it the heart, masseter, the jaw muscle, or the gluteus maximus, or the tongue? Which is the strongest muscle? Common sense does not work out here. Okay. Masseter is the strongest muscle. Okay. Sixth question. Which part of the brain controls involuntary actions like heartbeat and breathing? Cerebellum, brainstem, cerebrum, or the hypothalamus? Quite easy, no? Yeah, that's the right answer. Good, 10 of you got it right. Okay, Sebastian and Puffy are on the race. Maverick is also on number 3. Players. The funny bone is actually, please look at the pictures, okay? Is a tendon, a ligament, a nerve, or a vein. When you hit your hand, You get a tingling sensation. So it's called a funny bone. Is it a tendon, a ligament, a nerve, or a vein? It's the nerve, it's the ulnar nerve. You hit the ulnar nerve. Okay. Puffy is keeping up. The largest lymphatic organ in the human body is the thymus, the spleen, the lymph nodes, or the tonsils. It's a trick question. Please be careful. Very good. Spleen is the largest lymphatic organ. It's not the thymus. Puffy has become the first in the race. Last but one question. We'll find out who the names are. Which part of the brain is responsible for memory? Cerebellum, hippocampus, the medulla, or the amygdala? I put two very distinguished names other than this 12th standard syllabus. That's hippocampus and amygdala. You have to make sure that you find one of them. It's hippocampus. Looks like Puffy lost that question. They are still in the race. Last question. Fingers on the phone. Which part of the human eye provides color vision? It's quite an easy question. Again, it's 12th standard syllabus only. Which one is it? And you can also look at the options. They are quite easy. Is it the retina, cornea, iris, or the cone cells? Why give me the answer? You put it on your phone. Okay, to the final reveal. This is not the reveal. We still have to reveal who the names are.
How many prizes?
3, sir. All 3 are same prices. Okay, Maverick is the first, Puffy is the second, and Sebastian is the third. Who is Maverick? Can you please identify yourself? Congratulations, sir. Manohar sir, please. Puffy. Puffy is Vidya, ma'am. Sebastian. Regular and quiz. Please onto the stage. I request Dr. Kalpana ma'am to give the prize for her. The following is Earthman with 5,084. Next is Hustler. There's an Ashley. Ma'am, please give us the prize, ma'am. There's a Montana. Onto the stage, please. Thank you so much.